What's up, everybody? It's Wild Bill Fishing from Hookset Hoodlums, and I'm doing another unboxing today. Today, I'm going to be unboxing my starter pack for the year of soft plastics from Fish or Die. Now, if you've seen my last unboxing with ABF Tackle, you'll see that I added the shredder, a couple packs of the shredder, which is like a soft plastic jig. To my repertoire, my inventory. Okay, so I'm going to be running with the shredder. Can't wait to try that out. And then, if you know anything about how I fish, kind of a beating the dead horse here, but you know I'm a jig guy. I throw a lot of finesse jigs early on in the year, and then swim jigs and bladed swim jigs throughout the rest of the year. So it's really a bait that I'm a jig guy through and through, basically all year long. So let's check it out. Fish or Die. Got a little thank you note here. Thank you for your purchase and supporting small business. We aspire to provide you with a product and company message that will make you a loyal customer for years to come. If you haven't done so already, follow us at blah, blah, blah. Social media stuff, pretty cool. Obviously, the Fish or Die logo is, you know, a timeless American logo. Little twist on it. Dude, check this out. Check out this decal. And I'm a huge fan of the Red Man chewing tobacco logo. And there's a couple companies that have done it and they continue to redo it, and I'm a sucker for it every single time. I love this decal. Fish or Die, made in the colonies. Fish or Die Bait Company. That is really a badass decal. So thank you for that. That was added into the order. All right. So with my swim jigs and my bladed swim jigs, I am constantly throwing craws or paddle tails. Pretty much exclusively on the swim jig is a paddle tail. Bladed jigs, I'll throw craws on there sometimes too, depending on what type of movement in the current and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, paddle tails, I'm a huge proponent of throwing paddle tails on my swim jigs. So this is the Minutemen 3.5, so it's a 3.5-inch bait. This Fish or Die Bait Company, this is the Fog of War. So actually, this is the same color I got the shredder in, the Fog of War. It's like a silver purplish with a little green and black flake in there. So it's kind of hard to see with that light on there the way I just had it. But anyway, that's a deadly color. That's the Fog of War Minutemen 3.5-inch paddle tail. Absolutely an epic trailer for swim jigs. I got a couple packs of those. Now, another thing I like to do, I love the color black, and I do a contrast with my jigs and swim jigs. I'll do like a green and black or white and black, just a heavy contrast color. So dark, not necessarily black, I say black, but I love a super dark contrast. So I got some other Minutemen 3.5-inch paddle tails, Agent 711, okay? These are the, I can't tell if these are just black or I see a lot of blue flake in there. I mean, the blue flake, actually, I'm going to open this up because this is pretty sick. And again, the light, I feel like my light isn't doing too much of a justice to it. Dude, check that. That's a super dark color, and I don't know if you could see. Yeah, you can see, look at that blue flake, look at the paddle. Dude, what a well-made bait. Dude, the color in this is sick. I am actually going on a trip next week where it's going to be a little bit, actually, probably won't be too much warmer. But anyway, where I will be throwing some swim jigs, and 1,000,000% will be throwing these. This is, again, Agent 711. I hope I'm saying that right. Agent 711, it's on the back on the tag there. Minutemen 3.5-inch paddle tail. All right. Now, for my finesse jigs, especially early on in the year, I love like a burnt orange or a dark red for my trailer, and I'll do like a really dark color finesse jig, like a black football head or something like that, or a green pumpkin and black, and then Yeah, like a burnt orange or red trailer. So that brings me to the 2.8-inch Patriot trailer. I mean, I'm using it as a trailer. This is a craw, and as I said, if you checked out the one of the Hoodlum casts that we had just done called Fish or Die with AVF Tackle, where we had Joe and Taylor on, I talked about it's very rare that you see anybody do soft plastics anymore and have originality with them. And this is absolutely an original style craw, which you really don't see. You don't see people reinventing the wheel too much. And when they do, it's usually a failure. This is pretty sick. It's got a thick, sturdy body. That's not flimsy plastics, not super oily, nothing like that. And then those craws, one solid piece, like an arrow, basically, which is good. You'll see less tearing with that, I would imagine. And then the antennas there, super realistic. Imagine throwing this on a finesse jig, black color, and you're sitting that off a rock. And yeah, you see how much these are moving and bouncing. That's gonna have a lot of action to it. I can't imagine that doesn't get chomped, because he does a really good job on the density of these plastics. I would imagine that's going to cause a lot of movement, any type of current, and then just slow twitching on a finesse. At least that's how I use it. Again, you could Texas rig these. You could use, obviously, soft plastics, however you're going to use them, right? So I plan to use these. A nice little finesse jig. Soft twitches, early spring, late winter fishing. I got a couple packs of these. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't say the color. Agent Orange, the 2.8-inch Patriot from Fish or Die. Absolutely love that. That's going to be probably my go-to early on in the year, because again, you're slow fishing. These fish aren't reacting. At least up here in the Northeast, they're not moving super fast. Once that thaw happens, they're eating. They want a nice big meal, but they're not chasing a lot of bait. You know, it's got to be slow moving. And again, as I talk about this contrast and how I love the dark color. Oh, you know what? Did I read that wrong? Okay. Tribe Onita. I might have read that wrong. I said Agent Orange, so it's Agent Orange Stench, but then it says Tribe Onita. So I might have messed that up. But anyway, I mean, you'll see it. Fish or Die. So this is a 3-inch Sherman. Super original creature bait. And I'm a sucker for creature bait. I'll use these on jigs and by themselves, especially in like padded weeded areas. And these aren't overly big. It's a 3-inch Sherman. A lot of movement. Same thing. Now look at these. These actually have the claws to them. And then those antennas or whatever they are, you know, that you see typically on creature bait. So I'll break those apart. I would separate these. And you get a lot more movement in there. As that's sinking down, you're going to have a lot of movement. That's going to get destroyed. You're going to get fish of all different sizes on this, but the giants are going to eat. I'm telling you, that is guaranteed to get chomped. And that looks like super dark black with red flake. You know, the color scheme, the density, everything's really, really good here. Super pumped with the product that Fish or Die is putting out. I'm not surprised. Like I said, I remember when Taylor was starting up and really starting to push his product, and you know, his creativity was really showing early on, which is hard to do with soft plastics, and even his designs like clothing and stuff like that. But I'm glad to see how he's grown and just gotten he's got a lot of popularity here. That's what I was gonna say. So I'm not surprised at how sick these baits are, and I'm not surprised about how awesome these are, because the people that I know that throw and represent Fish or Die, like, you know, Joe and all those guys, again, their recommendation is enough for me to even go and try this stuff out. But I am pleased to see that actually holding these in my hand, how sick they look. Again, so if I'm going to have to make a recommendation, one recommendation, for me as a swim jig guy, I'm going with these Minutemen 3.5-inch paddle tails. Now, I like the Fog of War color for sure, because again, If you know my other videos back in the day when I'm throwing those paddle tails, you know I used to throw the Saucy Swimmers, and people would knock me for throwing Googan. But listen, man, I swear by it. They held up well, and they got chomped, and the color schemes were good. Now, I fished something similar to the Fog of War color, but I like these a lot better. I like that black flake in there. I think the color contrast is huge. So these Fog of War Minutemen and the Agent 711. So these would be my absolute recommendation for paddle tails. Again, this is without throwing them, but I mean, I don't have any question about what's going to happen here. So the Minutemen 3.5, okay? And then for finesse jigging, I'm going with the 2.8-inch Patriot Burnt Orange early on in the spring and late winter. You want slow moving, and you want that to stand out and match the hatch. And if you have crayfish, which you do, that's going to be the go-to. So that's my early on recommendation. Again, this is just my starter pack for Fish or Die. I actually wanted to hold and see the product. I wanted to really see if it's as good as what I thought, and it absolutely is. I can't wait to throw it. Can't wait to hook up a couple monsters in there. And yeah, have an epic year throwing some Fish or Die Bait Company soft plastics. Again, I also have the shredder, which I'm super excited about throwing, but that's in my AVF tackle unboxing video. So this is just my starter pack here with Fish or Die Bait Co. And it's fishordiebaitcompany.com. fishordiebaitcompany.com. Let's go. Shout out, Taylor. You're putting out a great product. Thanks for coming on the Hoodlum Cast. And I'm looking forward to catching some monsters this year with Fish or Die Bait Company. Again, check them out, fishordiebaitcompany.com.